second video diary. Okay. It's always weird and awkward to like, where do I begin every time? I'll get used to it one day. So as a creative, which I consider myself a creative, I remember when I was a kid and even into early adulthood, I would always deny my creativity because my older brother, is super creative and an artist, a legit true artist, has a degree in painting and ceramics, and he makes, ever since he was a little kid, he just knew how to create these beautiful, amazing pieces, any type, like 3D, three-dimensional or one-dimensional, and with so many different tools. And seeing him grow up, I would deny my own creativity because I thought that's what creativity looked like, what he did. And I didn't understand that creativity can look different. It doesn't have to look like painting or ceramics or creating, molding something in a certain way. That said, I probably like 5 to 7 years ago, I started embracing my creativity, that I am creative. I am a creatress. And I had a friend that used to use that language, a creatress, the feminine version of creator. And in doing that, in accepting that I am creative, that I am a creator, I began to receive more. I call them downloads, but different ways to be creative, to create in the world. I've also learned so much about my own creativity since accepting I am creative. One thing that I've learned is that I'm very creative with my body. I love to move my body in dance, in sport, yoga, any type of movement. I love to move my body, to use my body. I'm pretty strong. I've always been pretty strong. So to use it to build. I'm very good with my hands, and I've built a lot of things and worked alongside other builders to help them create their projects. And so when we start to understand ourselves in ways, it can bring us back to who we are, aside from the demands of the system. And when I say system, I mean society as it is right now today, this functioning system, the thing that keeps everything running, which is us. We are human capital at this point. And yes, we are human capital. Our bodies, our minds are what create everything in the world. And there's needs, right? There's specific needs. If we don't have the skills that a business or, somebody's looking for, that they'll pay us for, then we're out of luck, because not only do they need us to do all the work in order to keep this thing going, but we need money in order to pay for housing, food, water now. Water? Why are we paying for water? We were born on this planet. Just saying. It's one of those free things that I think comes with the planet, as does most food. I say most because there is some actual dead food on this planet that has no nutritional value, nothing that feeds us, and in fact poisons us. But so much is here, and there's a meme out there, and it's like humans are the only species on the planet that pay to be alive, pay to be here. The animals, they are fed, wild animals, right? They eat off of what's around. They forage, they hunt, they drink from the rivers, the lakes, whatever they can find. But us, we're okay paying money to drink, paying money to eat. And let me be clear, I'm okay to pay to eat somebody's art, because to me, food is art. It's an expression of love and creativity, and like there are people who are creators with food, and I think it's amazing. And in the system, we value something with our money, right? So for me to pay somebody to create me a meal, that's me valuing their skill. And that's just the way it works. And I'm happy to do so at this point, although I would like to help humanity to shift the lens a little bit, to see that money is just energy, and everything on this planet is about energy exchange. I know I started looking at things this way when I was still going to church back in my mid-20s. When I got out of the military, I've always served in the church. Like from a kid, I was working in the nursery or reading scripture, or singing, or wherever they needed help, working at BBS. I just always enjoyed being of service. But in my 20s, I was super struggling. Like I was working 2 to 3 jobs just to make my ends meet. And I got to the point where I was a little like, God, I don't know if I got money to give this church, and this church looks like it's doing pretty good. Like it's doing better than I am right now. So I don't feel super comfortable giving my money tithing. And I just had this huge mindset shift that tithing doesn't have to be money. It's just energy exchange. So how could I give my energy in other ways? And that's when I realized I already was. I've always, again, like me, if I was a youth leader for a short time in a church, and I would buy snacks or get materials for the kids, the teens, and when I would do that, to me, that was tithing. And when I would spend time with them and listen to them, that was tithing to me. An energy exchange. I'm giving, I'm receiving, So anyway, just beginning to shift how we see things. I hope that we can go that direction in our near future. That would be amazing. But we're not there yet, because in order to shift how we see energy exchange, we have to see that we have something to exchange. We have value in us. It's born in us. We have gifts and talents in this world that are born in us. And my belief is that our education system should be here to fully support children recognizing those inherent gifts and developing them, supporting them. So when a kid tells us that they want to be a veterinarian, then we need to make sure that they're getting exposed to time with animals, getting exposed to maps of animals and the different body parts, and learning how the systems in the bodies of different animals work, which, by the way, that I wanted to be one when I was a kid. And then I figured out it's like longer than being a doctor, because you're working on a lot of different animals versus one human physical system operates the same through and through. But a horse's body is different than a bovine body, then is different than a feline body, then is different than a canine body, right? So anyway, but the point remains that our education system should be focused on, when this child tells us this is what they want to do, we feed into that, we support that. F, you know what I mean? the idea of testing and scoring high on all of these things, because at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Yes, they need to be intelligent, but the way we go about it is dumbing kids down. Testing means that we need to memorize, and we need to make sure we know exactly the answers to a test, not knowing how to exist in the society, knowing how to interact with one another, knowing how to find our gifts, knowing how to navigate using our gifts, like all these things. Anyway, where did I get off track here? I was really gonna say something about something, but here I am talking about our education system and what it needs to really focus on, in my eyes. Oh, yes, our value. Exchange of energy. Yeah, so that's where I want us to be, is being able to shift how we see money, energy exchange. But also, we can't do that until we see our own value, see that we do have something within us. And the reason we don't is because of the education system, that most of us, if not 99.9% of us, were told to sit down and shut up and memorize exactly what's here, listen to the teacher, and when the teacher tells us we're doing it wrong or being bad or disruptive or whatever, we get in trouble, and then we have this whole mind space about us not being a good enough kid. Or I have a degree in psychology as well, so it's a warp. Not only having the education in this, but having the experience in it. I've lived through the education system myself. I was able to adapt because I also grew up in a space where I had to kind of perform, if you will, and navigate emotional manipulation in some way. So I learned at a very young age how to perform in order to keep the peace, in order to make sure that everybody's okay in a space. That's one of my gifts that came from the conditions of my life and this planet. Anyway, until we are able to recognize our value and see such, we are never going to ask for more, ask for different, ask for better, because we don't see that we deserve it. But we do. We do. So, the diary part. Getting back to me. I have a close friend, Marcus Waterman, who, is it okay that I just said your name, Marcus? I think we're that close of friends. Anyway, he and I like to joke because we both talk about ourselves. But we learn, it's a beautiful relationship. We learn and grow from one another, from each other's stories. And that is to me, our relationship is a beautiful example of what relationships can be, that we, there's still us in the conversation, and we like to talk about us, but we're both learning from one another, and kind of, sometimes it's like a healing session, sometimes it's like a motivation session, sometimes it's a reminder of who I am, and he reminds me, and I remind him, and it's a lovely relationship. But anyway, back to me. I've been writing, I've got all of these courses that I want to offer, all this stuff that I want to share, and it seems like so much, and it's very spread wide. So here is the core for me, my desire, and I'm going to say this, and if it doesn't resonate with me, I may say it a different way, but for me, my purpose, my desire, my driving force is to help elevate humanity, to shift the mindset from a place of reaction to a place of conscious decision making, and living in a space of peace and prosperity, equity, justice. And those all come in a particular order, because we can't just jump straight to prosperity without equity, without justice. So we have to face and come to terms with equity and justice before. And what's beautiful is we are right now. It looks scary. It looks terrible. There's a lot of like, no, that's not justice. Yes, this is justice. You aren't worthy of justice. You are worthy of justice, right? It's all like out there. It's like we're vomiting this stuff up, some of the poison and some of it just other stuff, but also there's beauty coming out of like, yes, all of us are worthy of justice, of equity. And that's what equity, I could get into all of that. But equity is the idea that it doesn't all look the same. Like the needs, we all have different needs. So giving everyone access to, to one thing, like everyone gets an apartment on the 5th floor, right? Some people can't make it to the 5th floor. Some people are afraid of heights. Some people are like, I can't live that close to all those people. Other people are like, yes, I would love to live on the 5th floor. So, you know, and that's maybe not the best example, but you get the idea. Anyway, so I'm sorting out in my head, and again, by sharing here, it helps me to sort things out and to get more clear, because I'm a firm believer that when we speak and when we have conversation with others, because everybody is of source, of creator, of God, we are all divine beings, come from the same place. So for me, having conversations, God speaks to me. Sharing things with you all, answers come to me. So anyway, this has been a very long diary, but thanks for hanging out. What I have been exploring and what I really wanted to get out today is that I have such a wide spectrum of what I want to share. Some of it mental health support and tips, some of it physical health support and tips, some of it spiritual health support and tips, some of it communal support and tips, meaning community, some of it societal support and tips. And I'm in a place right now of like, where do I start? What do I focus on? What's the most important? And what do people even want to hear? What do people want to listen to? And where do people want and are ready? Maybe people want to work on their summer bod, right? But they're not able to right now because they got kids that are around them 24/7, or they got a physical illness happening right now, so they got to pay attention to the illness first and then get to that. Or maybe there's mental illness that is like weighing them down and it's hard for them to get up and move. All of those are very valid and very real. So it's crazy, right? These are all the thoughts that go through my head of not necessarily what is it that I want to share, but what is it that I want to share where people are ready to hear and ready and willing to hear. So thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me get that out. I wish you all a beautiful and blessed day, and I'll see you again.